Hey there, Regina Anley here, and it is time for Tips and Tricks Tuesday. And this week, our theme is content systems. It's not about creating content per se and the content that you're creating and that kind of thing. It's about the actual system behind what you're creating for content. Because a lot of people, and this may be you, I don't know, just kind of willy-nilly create content during the week. They're like, oh, I'm going to do a blog. Oh, I'm going to do a post on Monday. And then they don't post again until Thursday or whatever. Or, hey, I'm going to give this freebie out, but, I'll do one. And then 6 months later, you do another. Content systems are important because you want to stay consistent. You want to show up consistently for your audience. So that's where the system comes into play. It's not just about what you're creating for content. It's about having a manageable system in place that makes it so that content creation is not this big process. It's not this big, oh my gosh, I got to get this done. It's not a struggle. It's none of that. It's literally just a process that you have in place. It's a system you have in place that you just do, and you do it repeatedly, consistently, so that you are showing up for your audience on a very consistent basis. So there's a 6-step system here to get started with. So if you have nothing in place right now, this should get you started, and then you can modify it from there. So the first thing is pick your rhythm. Now, what do I mean by that? That means decide how you're going to show up and where you're going to show up. So for me, I have a rhythm. I have a theme of the week that I do, and I post the tippable quote of the week on Monday. Tuesdays, I'm here for Tips and Tricks Tuesdays. Wednesday, I send out a value email. Thursday, there's a LinkedIn post. There's another live, the AI Spotlight. Friday, I do a Friday freebie. On Mondays, I also do a blog. That's basically my content, my rhythm for what I do. So I know what I'm posting on what days and where. And it's not just all one place. As you can see, the blog's on the website. Then we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have Instagram. What I post, I also post to Instagram as well. So there's different pieces of content to show up. So that's the first thing, is decide what it is that you want to post on a consistent basis and when. So pick that rhythm that you're going to stick with consistently. And then number 2, plan your topics in advance. Now, depending on what you do, I am guessing there is a plethora of topics that you can use for whatever your business is. And there's always new stuff coming up. So it should be a fluid document. And when I say document, what I do, I use Excel. You can use Google Sheets or something like that. And I actually have 52 weeks. I have an entire year's worth of weekly themes already built out. So when I go to create my content for the week, I just go to my Excel spreadsheet and go, oh, that's what this week's theme is, and off I go. So plan your topics in advance, knowing that, hey, well, if something comes up, depending on what industry you're in, maybe you're in the health industry and some big new thing comes out, some big news comes out, so you want to change it up to something else because it's a trending topic. Yeah, just make sure that it's fluid, but at the same time, don't drive yourself crazy going, what am I going to post this week? What am I going to talk about this week? What am I going to talk about today? Have it planned out in advance, because that eliminates that whole blank screen. What am I going to do? Deer in the headlight here, looking at your screen, figuring out what you're going to do. So if you have a weekly theme, or if you have a specific topic you want to focus on, or anything like that, even if it's a consistent topic over and over and over again, because one topic could have literally thousands of pieces of content. So just pick what works for you in your business. The third thing is to batch your content creation. So batch create it, meaning pick a day. Personally, for me, it's Sunday nights. So on Sunday nights, I generally spend about 2 hours max creating all of that content for the week. Do I use AI to assist? Yeah, I do. However, I'm the final say, I'm the final write, and I always rewrite everything that it gave me. I just use it to actually make the process faster, because I just told you all those different things that I create. And there's a lot of different posts. There's a lot of different articles. There's blogs and all kinds of things that are coming out. So yeah, that's a lot of stuff. And if you were manually doing every single little piece of that, it might take a little bit more time. However, if you use AI and you already have a topic or a theme picked, guess what? You could do it in a fraction amount of time. So I spend about 2 hours on a Sunday night and I create everything for the week, which leads me into step number 4, which is give it a home. Now that I've created it, I have to put it someplace. In my case, I have a specific folder on my desktop where I keep everything. It's in my Automacent marketing folder, and there is a place for my blogs, for my articles, for my posts. There is a place for everything, and I save it right there. So it's right there, drop of a dime. I can pick it up, I can take it, I can use it, I can post it, and there's no question about what's going on. So give it a home. One place where everything lives. Maybe you use Google Drive. So maybe you have a Google folder out on Google Drive that is for your content, whether it's weekly content, monthly content, however you're batching your content. That goes back to that rhythm. Step number 1, how you create. If you're going to do it weekly, if you're going to do it daily, however you're going to do it, I suggest at minimum is weekly. Some people like to batch monthly. That's okay too. Whatever works for you. Remember, your unicorn factor. Whatever works best for you in your world. I'm not going to tell you follow this system and put it like this. The steps are the same. How you do it is entirely up to you. So give that content a home. And then, oh, wait a minute. So when you give a content a home, the other thing I wanted to mention is you can use apps like Notion and ClickUp and those kind of tools. There's a whole bunch of tools out there. So if that's your preference, you can use a tool as well. Personally, I use my local computer drive. It's just the way I am. I'm old school. I've done it that way forever. So that works for me. Do what works best for you. And then the next thing is to schedule it out. So on Sunday, when I go and create all my stuff, I don't sit there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and go, oh, it's 10 o'clock. I got to go post this out. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. I got to go post this out. No. When I create it, the last step of me creating it is going over to whatever platform it is and scheduling it. So whether that's scheduling an email to go out, scheduling a post to go out, scheduling an article to go out, whatever it is, it's scheduled. So it's literally a set it and forget it kind of thing. It's not 100% forget it, because when people start commenting and engaging, you want to engage back. But as far as getting it scheduled and getting it out there, all you need to do is go out and schedule it. Now, I do recommend using the local schedulers on like Facebook and LinkedIn. So Meta, use the Meta Business Suite for your Facebook and Instagram. If you're posting on Threads, if you're posting on LinkedIn, go use the LinkedIn scheduler. Why? There's a bunch of different schedules out there. Buffer, Later. There's a ton of them out there, and there's more seem to be creeping up all the time. The thing with the schedules is that some of the platforms aren't very third-party app friendly. Facebook's one of them. So Meta's not a huge fan of having those third-party schedulers come in, and they can make it so the algorithm actually downplays your content a little. So just to make sure that you're being seen the way you want to be seen, I do recommend using the local schedulers. So use the Meta Business Suite, use the LinkedIn scheduler. If you have a CRM, you're scheduling out your emails, whatever it is, just make sure that you're not creating all this awesome content and then nobody's seeing it because you've used some third-party scheduler that, Meta doesn't like, and so all of a sudden it's not showing your stuff to anybody. So that's that piece, is to schedule it out. And last but not least, step number 6, repurpose. Look back to what worked really well, because you'll notice some topics are great, other ones maybe a little bit more of a flop because the audience really isn't interested in that. There's a lot of stuff that we're interested in. Every single one of us has a ton of stuff that we're interested in. That doesn't mean that everybody else is interested in it too. So when you think about it, you'll see what stuff is working best, what content is getting the most engagement. You can go back and repurpose that. I wouldn't repost it as is, but you can repurpose it. Take that same topic, change it up a little bit, post it out again. It just helps you get that revolving door into your content so you make sure that you're showing up consistently for your clients. So it's basically pick your rhythm. So decide when you want to post. And then it's plan your topics out in advance, whether that's a weekly theme, a topic that, you're doing a whole bunch of stuff in your topic. I have a client who is nutrition, and she started with metabolism, and she went to microbiome. She's doing intermittent fasting. So she's picking topics inside of her industry and then running with each one of those individually for her content. Perfect, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So plan those topics, then batch create the content, whether that's once a week, once a month, whatever works for you. You don't want to have to do it once a day because it just takes up too much time. So if you do it once a week and you plan it that way, you have the system in place where it's in your calendar. It's content creation time, marketing, whatever you want to call it in your calendar so that you'll get it done. And then just go do it. So you want to batch create your content and then make sure you give it a home so that you know where it all is, especially because you want to save it so you can repurpose it, right? So whether that's Google Docs or an app like Notion or on your local drive, wherever that works best for you, then schedule it. Get it out there for the world so that you're not going every day, oh, geez, did I remember to post that on Facebook? Did I remember to post on LinkedIn? Did I remember to post on Instagram? Did I remember to send that email out? All of it can be pre-scheduled. So create it, schedule it. And then last but not least, remember, you saved all that stuff. Find out what's working well. All of the platforms, all the places you go, all have analytics that you can look at that will show you what's getting the most engagement. And whatever is getting the most engagement, take that and repurpose it because obviously that is what people are interested in. All of the clues for what your audience wants are right in front of you. All you have to do is look at those analytics and go, wow, they were really interested in, the metabolism topic, but they weren't so interested in microbiome. Now you know. And then you can go post more on whichever one's more interesting to people because the goal is to keep that interest with your audience and bring them into your world. So get a system in place. If you don't have one already, it's really super simple. It's just those 6 steps to get you started. And then once you're started, now you get into this rhythm where you just keep doing it over and over and over again. It is a living system. It's a living process. Parts of it, as you move on, parts of it might even be more automated. As you move on and you decide what you want, never automate something that you don't have a process in place already that you know is working. Don't just create a process and go, okay, I'm going to go automate it because you haven't found out yet whether or not that process works. Go and use it, set it up, manually get it all out there. And then if that works, go, oh, you know what? I can do this and let somebody else schedule it. Maybe it's a VA. Maybe you hand it off to somebody else and say, here is the process. Here's the topic. Go create the content. But you can't do that until you have the system in place. So that's what we're talking about this week, content systems. Getting those systems in place to make your life easier, to make it so that you're not driving yourself crazy every week when you think about what am I going to post? What am I going to create? What am I going to send out there? How am I going to stay in front of my audience? So that's what I've got for you this week. We will see you next time on Tips and Tricks Tuesday. Bye for now.